hello. Can everybody hear me? Good morning. Oh, we can do better than that. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here and see all of you this morning. I'm Sasha Bray. I work with 13 ABC. How many of you wake up dark and early in the morning to watch the news? A few sleepy hands up in the air. Yes, yes. When I say I wake up early, I mean I wake up at 2 in the morning. So for me, this is like dinner time. This is great. I'm very happy to be here today for the Imagination Station's 8th annual Girl Power, presented by Comfort Line Fiber Frame. For the last 7 years, the Imagination Station has hosted this STEM Career Day, which allows young women like all of you to come and meet and learn and hear from some of the amazing STEM professionals that we have right here in our community making a difference. Really get to understand, what do you do every day? What are their jobs? Last year, we had to bring you these stories virtually. Today, we're so excited to see everyone's beautiful faces in person in 3D. It's excellent. Right here in the brand new KeyBank Discovery Theater. So we are going to meet some of these really smart, really interesting women who are paving the way for all of you to be the future female engineers, innovators, and scientists. So let's meet our panelists, the stars of the show sitting up here. To my left, we have Amanda Bryant. Amanda grew up in Hilliard, Ohio, and graduated from Ohio Northern University in 2017 with a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering with a minor in entrepreneurship. She completed 5 engineering co-op rotations within different engineering departments while in college before becoming full-time applications engineer at Eaton Hydraulics, now which is called Danfoss Power Solutions. She has been with the applications engineering department for the last 5 years and recently took a new role as a commercialization manager within the product management. So those are a lot of big words. So Amanda, you explain to us, what do you do?
So I'm going to focus on applications engineering since I just switched to that other title that's very long to say. But in applications engineering, my main job is to talk to the customers that use hydraulics like a backhoe or airplanes or trains and like truck and bus, so like your semis that are going down the road. We're fitting in the fluid conveyance products, so like hoses and fittings, so that the hydraulics functions on the machines that they work on. Yeah, that image up top actually highlights all of the products that we could fit into a machine. So I basically get to tell these guys that are designing the backhoe, hey, this is where you need to fit in our products for you to actually be able to lift that backhoe up and down for it to run properly. So that's what I get to do on a day-to-day.
Thank you so much, Amanda. All right, next up, we're going to meet Marquisa Horton. She is the Director of Technical Operations and Construction at Buckeye Broadband. She has been with Buckeye for more than 25 years and in her current role since 2019. She's responsible for the construction, installation, and maintenance of the plant. Some of the duties include ensuring timely research, development, deployment, demonstration, and training of new technology as it relates to technical operations, construction, and the other departments. Marquisa also serves as co-pastor of Corinth Church. She earned her BA from the University of Toledo and is currently completing an EMBA from Bowling Green State University. So welcome, Marquisa. Tell us a little bit about what it's like to work in so many different departments.
Yes, it's exciting. There is never a
What makes fiber optic internet better than traditional cable or wireless internet? Bandwidth. Think for a second about how many devices are on your home network. 5, 10, 20? No matter what, more devices using more bandwidth requires a faster, clearer internet signal. And fiber delivers. It delivers movies, music, media.
Next to Marquisa, we have Dr. Sandrine Mubanga. Oh, looks like we have a little, that was just a test to make sure. Okay. Dr. Mubanga is the assistant professor at the Engineering Technology Department at the University of Toledo, where she received the bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees in electrical engineering. Her research areas include battery management systems, electric vehicles, and renewable energy systems. She is a registered professional engineer and serves as a member of Ohio's New African Immigrant Commission. She's passionate about finding renewable energy solutions so people can better their lives while fighting climate change. In 2018, Dr. Mubenga founded the STEM DRC initiative, a nonprofit organization that aims to encourage STEM in the DR Congo and the United States. So thank you so much for being here. Dr. Mubenga, tell us, what is a typical day at work like for you?
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here today. I love this Girl Power event. So what it's like to be, I've had multiple careers, as you explained. Currently, I'm a professor at the University of Toledo within the Department of Electrical Engineering Technology, and I love it because it's very hands-on. I like to solve problems. That's really what it's all about, and you can do that with electrical engineering technology in general. So we have a variety of classes that we teach, of course, but everything that I try to teach in my classes is that the goal is to solve a problem that can benefit society. And that's what is important, to have a positive impact around you. And that's why in my previous career, I was a power engineer here working with First Energy, Toledo Edison, and I also am an entrepreneur still in the power industry doing a solar system, and she's making solar panels. So I'm glad to be here with you today.
Thank you so much. All right, so our next panelist we're going to meet is Senior Urban Planner at the Collaborative, Rachel Mamani. Rachel has a passion for creating exciting designs that tie together architecture, communities, and their environments. She places great value on the importance of community feedback in a design, she says it's the key to positive and lasting change. For nearly 10 years, Rachel has been bringing new neighborhoods to life, creating an abundance of opportunities for our city. She graduated with a Master's of Architecture from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee and is a certified planner with the American Planning Association. So Rachel, with all the work that you've done, what has been your most memorable project?
Well, I've had many, and as you mentioned, so I'm an urban planner. I started my career in architecture, so designing buildings, and through working in architecture, I decided that I actually was more interested in broader systems, so communities, so bringing all those sorts of buildings and spaces together. So I really enjoy working with people, with communities, with cities, with college campuses to align their goals, what their visions are, and bring that to life through physical change. So one of the projects that I'm most proud of was in Chicago. I just moved back from Chicago to Toledo last year, but a project called the Wild Mile. So this is a project on the Chicago River. We worked with the nearby community to create a new park in an area where there were really, children didn't have access to park. So working on the water to create a floating eco park through the installation of floating wetlands and a series of boardwalks. And the first phase of the project actually completed last year. So as a planner, we are very visionary, thinking at sort of 20 years out in how we can create impact and change. And so for me, when I actually see a project come to life in my lifetime is a very exciting thing. So.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, I'm happy to introduce to you Jennifer Beal, an analytical chemist too at First Solar. And Jennifer was born and raised in North Central Ohio. After receiving her Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry, she went on to get her master's and also her Ph.D. in analytical chemistry. Her first job was working with the Oklahoma Department of Agriculture in the pesticide testing lab. A few years later, she took a job at the North Carolina Medical Examiner's Office in a forensics lab and currently works for First Solar as an analytical chemist. Growing up, she says her favorite subjects were math and physical sciences, and she always enjoyed school and still loves to learn new things, which is why I suspect a lot of you are here today. Welcome, Jennifer. You have a video to share with us as well, and tell us a little bit about what's happening.
Okay, so this is a project I worked on a couple of weeks ago. We had a solution that we had to get to test, and so in order to test it, we were like, how would we approach this test? So we take it liquid, something that's soluble in liquid, and we're adding gas to it, and we're forming a yellow solid. It's pretty exciting. It's a really pretty yellow in this picture. We did it again, and it was a fluorescent orange color. So it's all about taking something and reacting it or dissolving it in order so that we can analyze what's in it. So a chemist in general will just look at something and determine what elements are in it. So just in general, chemist, if you look at anything in the world, whether it's alive, plastic, nature, gas, liquid, everything is made of chemistry. And so it's a broad range of things you could do with a chemistry degree.
Interesting. All right, thank you so much. Okay, so next up we have Shelle Pearson. Shelle Pearson is a Signals and Communications Officer for the Engineering Department at CN Railway. She began her career in transportation in 2015 and has completed more than 35 certifications and courses in management, safety, security, and infrastructure. She received her Infrastructure Protection Certificate from Texas A&M. Shelle is a Red Cross as a disaster action team volunteer, I hope I said that right, in addition to being a member of the World Safety Organization. She has served as a STEM Regionals competition judge for SMASH, which is an education program committed to eliminating the barriers faced by underrepresented people of color in science, technology, engineering, and math. So Shelle, looks like your position covers a lot of different responsibilities. Tell us more about what a typical day for you is like.
Well, first I would like to say I'm honored to be here today. A typical day at CN Railroad is not a typical day. The days, they change. It's just, you can walk in one day and you expect to work on one project, and then the next, you'll have something else going on. So with working in transportation, safety is the most first and foremost thing with anything we do. From designing our projects to working in the signals department, making sure we have the correct parts, making sure we have the correct money and funds going and allocated in the right direction so we can complete the projects on time and on budget. So with that said, again, there's no typical day at CN, but some days you are able to work outside in the environment, and that's rain, sleet, or snow. And other days, I sit at my desk, and I'll do reports and plan projects. So there's such a variety, and that's what I love about my job. I have a lot of variety, and as you can see, I love to continue to learn. So I'm always volunteering and pitching in on new projects for the railroad.
Excellent, thank you so much. Finally, we're going to meet Leanne Terrell. Leanne is a chemist, engineer, lifelong student, and most recently a risk analyst. After graduating high school, she got her Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, followed by a Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering. While in school, she worked for multiple energy-related companies and mentored high school students in hopes of increasing their interest in engineering and also the energy industry. She started at Columbia Gas in 2017 as a field engineer and then accepted a new position with NiSource's risk management team just last year. So Leanne, tell us what you love most about what you do.
What I love most, well, first of all, good morning. Thank you for taking time to listen to me and all these other lovely ladies up here. The powerhouse team right here.
Yeah.
But what I love most is, so my new position is a completely new department. It is something that not a lot of gas distribution side is doing. So it's a risk assessment. So what I try to do is take numbers and statistics and a lot of math and try to put it together and create kind of a crystal ball so I can see and be able to tell our field people or our engineers where we should do projects so we can replace things before anything actually happens. So before it stops working, before corrosion gets to it, we create that crystal ball and say, go here and replace this before that happens. So it's kind of like being a fortune teller a little bit. And, that's, I think, what I'm going to change my title to, senior fortune teller.
That's a good conversation starter. Oh, yeah. Okay, so thank you again, all of you, for spending your time here with us today. We're going to get to know each other a little bit better now, so we're going to open up the questions to our audience. It's your time now to ask your questions, so you're just going to raise your hand. We're going to come to you, and then you're going to let us know your name, how old you are, what grade you're in. So introduce us to you, and then you get to ask your questions to whichever of our panelists, or all of them if you wish. So I'm gonna have one mic here, and then we have another mic over there. So whoever's closest to you will come on down. So who is ready to ask a question? Oh, okay, we're gonna get our steps in today, Andy. Here we go. You are awesome. Thank you. Easy question first. Tell us what your name is.
My name is Ayana.
Ayana. Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 9.
You're 9, okay. Do you want to wait a second and have someone else ask a question first? Okay, so you think of yours.
How old are you when you started working?
We'll let our panelists choose, whoever would like to go first.
Yeah, I can go first. So I started working after graduating from college with an undergraduate degree in architecture. So I would have been 22 when I started at my first job. Well, first job in my profession. My first job was actually at the zoo when I was 16. But then the career that I am now, I went and got a master's degree, and then I would have been 27 when I started the next phase of my career. So always continuing to learn and getting new types of jobs along the way.
I can go ahead and go since I have a microphone. I was actually started, well, my very first job, I was 16 working at a sandwich shop. But in my schooling, I did internships, and so internships are something that a lot of people do now. So my first internship, I would have been 19. Didn't have a clue what I was doing, but I was there getting that work experience. But I graduated with my second degree at 24, and got my job at 25. That's one thing they don't tell you sometimes, is it might take a little while for you to get your career. So.
I like it when people say, I had no idea what I was doing at the beginning. I'm serious, because I think that's important, right? For those of us that don't know yet when we're younger, and we're listening to professionals, we're like, it seems like a huge gap between where I am and where you are. It's good to know that you learn along the way. It's okay not to know at the beginning, right? All right, next question. Introduce yourself. What's your name?
My name is Madeline Miller, and I'm 12 years old.
Excellent.
And I'm in 6th grade. And the question I have for all the ladies up there is, so when you were like my age, what did you want to be when you grow up?
Well, I'll start first. At the age of 5, actually, I knew I wanted to be an engineer. I was one of those children that actually tore my bike apart because I always wanted to make it ride smoother, or thinking I was making it go faster. I just confessed to my father within the last year that I actually took apart his new lawnmower.
Oh.
I was looking into the engine, and my mother was in the kitchen, and she looked outside of the garage and said, "Oh my gosh." And I put it together just fine because he didn't know. And like I said, I'm in my 40s now, so I just confessed to him. But I knew from the beginning I was always wanting to improve items, tearing up radios. I always had the curiosity, running behind my father, handing him tools and things when he worked on his cars. So I knew at the age of 5.
All right.
Okay, I can go.
Sure.
Let's see. I think when I was around 6, I decided I wanted to be a veterinarian, so I loved being around animals and I wanted to help them all the time. I also got to work at a horse barn growing up, so that was one of my things I got to do, and it was really enjoyable, and I thought that I continued to want to be a veterinarian. But in high school, I actually got the opportunity to go to Ohio State University's vet college and tour there. And that day, I decided I don't want to be a veterinarian. So I would encourage you, if you have a field you're very interested in, there's a lot of camps, there's a lot of universities that let you go and check it out. So I would encourage you to do that. But that day, I decided I don't want to do this because A, I don't like blood and surgery, and I don't want to have to, tell somebody that I'm sorry, but your dog has to go to heaven now. But during that day, I decided, something else. And I always had a mind for, similar to what she said, was putting things together. When my mom got the box of furniture that needed to be put together, I was the one that loved doing it. And that was really what got me into engineering. And then I found another camp where I was able to go and get exposed to, different engineering degrees and decide which one I wanted to be in. And that's where I landed in mechanical engineering.
That one stuck.
Yes.
That one stuck.
That one stuck.
Yeah. We can, one more, go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I just think that I'm a little different here. So my first interest was being a writer. My first job was actually at the library at the age of 14. And I went on to have an interest in business management. And I started working at Buckeye Broadband. I was around 20 years old. And I realized that I had a stronger drawing to the technology in the engineering side of the house. So the experience, the education, everything came later in life. It was not my original career choice, but it was something that I found myself drawn to.
Interesting. Do we have any other questions up there? Oh, we have lots. Okay. Right in the center. Oh, right here. Yes, go ahead.
My name is Ashley. I'm 9 and in the 3rd grade.
Okay, and what is your question?
What type of experiments did you do?
Ooh, fun experience. Wow. There's been so many along the way. My love for chemistry came in high school. I've always loved sciences and math, but it really started then. Being able to mix two things together, and sometimes it catches on fire, sometimes it explodes, but in a safe way. Don't do this at home. Even something simple like adding baking soda with vinegar at home, the volcano, which is really exciting. So I've been doing experiments for the past about 30 or so years. It's never a dull moment. As you saw, I just did one a couple weeks ago. I took something in liquid, added a gas, and poof, I got a solid. That's pretty exciting. It's a pretty solid, it's yellow. Oh, experiments are my daily life.
Thank you. I wanted to talk about the different experiment. I did a pretty cool one when I was doing my master's degree. I made an electric car drive off hydrogen. So that was pretty cool. And then I developed a station that took water and broke it down into hydrogen and oxygen. And then I would take that hydrogen and fuel it into the car. And I would drive around the University of Toledo with my little hybrid car that runs off hydrogen. So that was one of the coolest experiments. And after that, I developed different technology. One of them is because I was very interested in electric vehicle. I developed a technology for batteries. Like a lot of people use lithium-ion batteries to store the energy for your car or for your solar system, etc. But they tend to get bad very fast. So I developed a technology to make the battery last longer. So those were among the coolest. But also, when I teach my class, I ask the student to solve a problem in society. So really, we end up doing different experiments. So they develop different technology during my class where they solve all kinds of problems. Like, for instance, a student had a pet, but they always forgot to feed the pet, right? They always forgot to give them water. So they designed a bowl and a microcontroller, because I teach a class with microcontroller, that would tell them to put the water in the bowl. So those are different things that we do every day. Thank you.
Excellent. Next question. Go ahead, yes, stand up. Introduce yourself to us.
Hi, my name is Emilia Miller.
Hi, Emilia.
And I am 10, and I'm in 4th grade.
Okay.
My question is, what sparked your interest in, like, what you're doing right now?
Well, since I have it before I pass it around, my story is a little bit different because I grew up in different countries. Emilia, when I was your age, you are 12, right, Emilia? I think she's 12. So by the time I was your age, Emilia, I had lived in 5 different countries. My father was a diplomat, so I grew up in different countries. And when I was your age, he took his early retirement, and we went back to live in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where I'm from. And we didn't live in the big city, which is Kinshasa, that has 12 million people. But we went inside in the rural area where my father was from, because he wanted to develop that area and start a university there with his friends. So when I was in that area, it was a small area where you did not have electricity or water. So if you wanted electricity, you needed a diesel generator to have electricity, you know, and I almost died when I was 17 because there was no electricity. I was sick. The doctor needed to do surgery, but because there was no electricity, my family had to look for 3 days to find gas to start the diesel generator, basically. And that's when I realized that I wanted to be an electrical engineer so that I could provide electricity in places like Kikwit so that people wouldn't die because of the lack of electricity. So that's why I decided to be an engineer.
So interesting. Wow, thank you.
I don't know if I can follow that up, but that's an amazing story. I personally, I also wanted to be a veterinarian for the longest time when I was younger, and then job shadowed with my grandma, who worked in a vet's office, and I saw an animal, you know, getting surgery, and then I no longer wanted to do that anymore. And so, but when I was in 8th grade, my principal in 8th grade knew someone who had started a program with a grant from the Department of Education, and it was geared towards getting women and minorities into the energy industry. And so they had a high school kind of summer camp program where you would go to different universities and visit and talk to professors, and we would visit different companies and just learn about the energy industry and what kind of things that you could do as an engineer. And so after that program in high school, I completed it, and I got a full ride scholarship to college. Scholarships, if you can find your scholarships, that's definitely the way to go. So, so I had a scholarship to college, and they actually paid for both of my degrees. So
wonderful. Next
if
question.
They're gonna pay.
Yeah, fantastic. Always worth the time to pursue that.
Hi, I'm London Burr. I am 9 years old, and I'm in 4th grade. This question's for Leanne. How do you know when to switch out parts?
Good question. So there is basically what I do, it is predictions using math. So if we know that there's a piece that was installed maybe the same year, and maybe that piece, they dug it up and it has corrosion or it looks bad, we put that into our calculator, our simulation, and it can tell us that, you know, there's this piece here and that piece here and that piece here. They were all installed at the same time. So, you know, there's probably a higher chance that they could also need to be replaced. Even though it hasn't yet failed, it hasn't yet had any issues, it could be reaching that point where we would have to replace it. And we do that for 7 million different pieces. So it is a very, very large crystal ball that I have that we try to decide which ones are most important. Do we need to do this year or next year? Where to spend money? The big high-up people want to know where to put their money. So, but yeah, so basically we look at historical things and try to use that to predict what might happen in the future.
Wonderful. Next question.
Hi, my name is Liana, and I'm 13, and I got a question for all of y'all. What was y'all first steps to become a leader?
You said first step to becoming a leader? Is that okay?
Of course, I believe that for me, leaders are born. We defy norms. We don't always follow the crowds, which is wonderful. And we're independent thinkers. So even as a child younger than you, if I knew something was wrong, I knew not to do it, regardless if my peers were doing it as well. So a leader to me, someone you always stand up to what's right or what you think is right, and also just continuing through my development, I have watched other leaders and picked up on their skills to know, hey, maybe I need to take a class in leadership, which I have. Maybe I need to take a different class in leading maintenance individuals, because every job I've had, I've always been a leader, but it depends on the job and the field you're in. You may have to brush up and continue to learn. So to me, just make sure you stand out, you do what's right, and like I say, I feel like leaders, we're born leaders.
Good answer.
I guess I can follow that up too. I feel very similarly. I think it's very much something that you have to work at, though. In addition to perhaps being born a leader, it's something that you can choose to be as well. So again, if you believe something very strongly, having the power to speak up. Again, learning is very important. So to become a leader, it's very important to pay attention in your classes or read things outside of your classes and just continue to grow to become a leader. And you have many opportunities in your life to become a leader, whether you're in grade school and you're part of a club or something, you can be a leader in that way, or amongst your friends, you can just be someone who, again, does the right thing. Or as you grow in your career, you can step up and become a leader as you progress. But again, it's something that you're always working towards. So all of you do have the opportunity, even though you might not feel you're born in that way, that you can choose to become one as you grow up.
Excellent. Let's have another question. Who's got the mic? Let's see, right down here. Yes, go ahead.
I'm Sophia, and I'm 10 years old in 4th grade. Did anyone tell you can't do anything?
It's a good question.
Yes, Sophia, I've heard that a lot for different reasons. And I'll tell you, when I was in high school, I started hearing that you can't be an engineer because you are a woman, you end up getting married and have kids, and your dream will go down the drain. And that's not true. And in my career also, I've heard that a lot, that no, you won't be able to do it. But guess what? I've been in different positions. I worked as a student. I did my co-op with General Electric. They make different motors, different things. And I was in position where I had to almost start a new product. And that's the same thing when I was in Toledo Edison. I've been part of teams most of my career where I had to start something that was never done before in the industry. So a lot of people were telling me this can't be done until we did it with the team. So that's something we hear a lot. And as a professor, I'm doing research, trying to find new things. And when you try to find new things, those things don't exist. So people tell you it can't be done. But you know what, Sophia, just keep going through it. Keep learning. That's something that keeps coming from this panel here. Keep learning to know better, and then you keep doing your experiment, and eventually you get it done, or you will learn from it. You will learn why it didn't work. So it's one thing to say you can't do it, but the reason is, why can't this be done? And that's when you start thinking about it, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
Another one that's hard to follow up. Sophia, that's an excellent question. Yeah. I think, I can think of times that I've been told what I can't do, but I think what sticks out to me more is what people try to put me in a box and tell me I should do or would be a good fit for me, and how I was able to kick down that box and say, you're not gonna put me inside of those walls. So that's what this is all about. That's what girl power is all about. People will always try to put you in a box. They will always try to limit you by your education, by your gender, by race sometimes, by many things, by the area you grew up in. You're gonna have all these things that try to limit you, but we're here today so that we can break some ceilings, so that we can kick down some walls, and that we can become anything that we wanna be. And I'm just thankful that I've had those opportunities, despite whichever type of boxes that someone tried to place me in, that I was able to break out of those, and I know you can do the same.
Wonderful. Who else has a question? Okay, right here, yes.
My name is Estella, and I'm 11 years old in the 5th grade. What if y'all was still doing the thing that y'all wanted to do when y'all was kids? What if y'all was still doing the job that y'all wanted to do when y'all was kids?
Well, I think if I was a veterinarian today, I would be very uncomfortable. And I probably wouldn't be as passionate about it as what I get to do today. So I think from that, it's okay to change your mind. So I think talk to your mom, talk to your dad, I call it a network. We hear that as adults all the time. Talk to the people around you and figure out what they do, so that you can start to branch out and figure out what you want to do, because it is okay to change your mind.
That's a good answer. That goes in a lot of different ways, right? You think you love something, you're pursuing something, you get far in it. There's nothing wrong with realizing, hey, I didn't know this option existed, and I can do that. I didn't even know that it was there. That is great. That's how you find where you belong. Anyone else want to answer that question? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, when I was young, I wanted to work with penguins. And so I wanted to be a marine biologist until I realized there were like 3 colleges in the U.S. that actually had that program. And I would have had to move to Florida. I don't like Florida. It's just too hot, too humid. And so I think I still would have had fun. But I like where I am because I like mixing 2 things together and making something else happen. So I do love being a chemist. I don't know if I would have been as happy working with penguins, but I do love animals, so yeah, maybe. It would have been harder to get my degree that way.
That is true. Next question? Yes.
Hi, I'm Delilah, and I'm 10 years old. And what is the hardest thing you faced in your career?
The hardest thing you faced in your career.
Well, I'll start with the question. It kind of, the hardest thing that I have faced in my career a lot of times is doubts. When walking through the door as a woman of color, people seem to doubt you. Doubt that you will be able to perform your job correctly. Doubt that you will be able to persevere and make it through your position. But I've had the opportunity to work in so many different areas. My first job, I was a cyclotron engineer, so I was the first female cyclotron engineer in the nation. I did not know that I was the first female cyclotron engineer in the nation until we all met. And out of the room that represented 50 states, I was the only female. Wow. So sometimes you just, you walk in and you defy the norms. I still walk in rooms till this day, and I'm the only female. Engineering, you will find that. A lot of times, you will be the only female. And if you're a female of color, you may be the only person of color in the room. But you know what? It's okay. Because you have to do a job that you love. Sometimes it puts more pressure on you, and other times you have to reprogram your mind. So you know in your heart that you're doing the best that you can do, and it makes the job a lot easier when you go to work every day and you know you love your position.
I agree 100% with what you said. The most important thing, the hardest thing to get over is your own insecurities and your own doubts. And once you get past that, because you're always, especially when you decide to go into a STEM career, you may face many times that you're the only minority, you're the only female, you're the youngest one, you're the first one, you're the whatever in that room, and you have to get past your self-doubts. It's easy to look at yourself, and if you don't know the answer, you assume everyone else in the room has the answer, and then you finally realize that, well, no one actually knows the answer, so I'm actually more intelligent than when I think. You have to get past your own self-doubts.
I think that's a great answer, because I think everyone here in school can remember a time when you're in class and something's being taught or discussed and you think, I'm the only one who doesn't understand this. And you doubt yourself, imposter syndrome, right? You think, I'm the only, oh gosh, everyone thinks I know this. It's so good to hear when people admit that it's okay, and then suddenly you realize a lot more people feel like that than you think. So it's wonderful. Next question? Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Serenity, and I'm 8, and I'm in the 3rd grade. And I wanted to know, what was your first step when you started your job?
Your first, what did you say?
Your first step.
The first step.
Well, I guess the first step is finding a job. So the women up here, we all went to pursue higher education degrees, so going to college, and then meeting people is really a big key in the first step to getting a job. So creating a network is the word she used. So making connections and using those connections to get that job. So my first job was at an architecture firm, and I got that job because of a connection that I had made. When you first start your career, you're learning. Many times what you learn in school isn't necessarily what you start out doing in your job. So again, there's that self-doubt that creeps in. And so asking questions is my biggest piece of advice for anyone starting a new job. So most people won't know what they're doing. And so it's important that you take that opportunity as a new employee, anywhere you are, to ask a lot of questions, to be able to gain that knowledge, and to be able to then perform your job the best that you can. So anytime we have a new hire come into the office, or a co-op, or an intern, I want to remind them, it's okay that you don't know what you're doing, but I would like you to ask a lot of questions. Ask me anything so that you can be better at what you do, and so that you can be better for the firm as a whole.
No dumb questions, right?
No dumb
There are
questions
no dumb
at all.
questions. Absolutely.
No, we prefer that you ask them.
Anyone else want to answer that one? Next step? Okay, let's get another question. Make sure we get, yeah, go ahead.
My name is Ashlyn. I'm 8 years old, and I'm in 3rd grade. And my question is, what's your favorite part of your job?
I don't think I realized how much I love my job until that question came up. Just yesterday, so everyone understands, especially now since the pandemic, the importance of internet and good, reliable internet. And I think the best part of my job is being able to deliver new products that people can use and that they depend on. Yesterday, I got to experiment and test out a new product of 10 gig speeds. And I'm just like, I can't wait until we can start advertising this. I can't wait until we can deliver it. So it's just exciting knowing that we're working on products that will go into a home and that people depend on and that they rely on.
I can add to that. I think the best feeling, when I get at my job is, people have talked about, solving puzzles and taking things apart and putting it together. And I know, my job has a lot of numbers and a lot of data, and sometimes you get lost in the numbers and you're just seeing spreadsheets and things scroll past the screen. But when it all comes together and you see, that map that has the different colors that, you can hand that off to someone and they can do something valuable with it. When you have your puzzle is complete, you get that feeling like, yes, it worked. Yes, my formula worked. And that's definitely a good day when you can, produce what you've been working on for a while is finally, the fruits of your labors, they say.
Success. Yes, excellent. How about right in the front row? I see you have a mic.
Hi, my name's Adeline. I'm 10 and in the 5th grade. So my question is, what are you guys doing right now to help the environment?
Well, I work for a solar company. So we're in charge of making solar panels so that we can try to mitigate how much fossil fuels go into the environment and form greenhouse gases. So solar panels are clean, renewable energy. I know other people are working on that too. And we are based in Perrysburg, so we're really close.
Yes, I'm going to follow up. Adeline, that's your name? Yes, that's a very important question. We only have one planet to live on, right? So I work as a researcher. I work in developing technology to make the energy we have last longer, if you want. So by making that energy last longer, then we would require less energy in a way. So then we would have less impact on the planet. Does it make sense? So we would use less resources to do the things we do. That's basically what I do as a researcher. As a professor, I'm teaching other people how to do that through their work.
Okay, let's do one more last question, and then we have something fun coming up. Go ahead.
My name is Anna. I'm 12 years old, and I'm in the 6th grade. At what point, when you guys started a project, did you almost give up?
Good question.
So I can, of course, speak to that. Project management is something that I came into and I really enjoy. But while working on projects during the pandemic, and we're still in the pandemic, parts that we used to could receive within 2 months, they're now taking 8 months. So it just blows your whole timeline out of the water. Also, when working with contractors or funding, a lot of times, you know, the funding may lapse if the project goes over into the next year. So you have to turn around and make sure everything's in place and push everyone to get things done. But I definitely would say I've never had a point to where I just threw my hands up and I said, I just can't do it. I can't get it done. I always persevere, and that's one thing I love about myself, just perseverance. Always knowing that you can continue and just the people that you can continue to do what you can do and only control what you can control, and always reach out to others. You have a vast network. It's not always on you, so just use your resources. So I'll say never give up.
Wonderful.
I was going to add, but I don't think I have anything to add for that.
Ditto. Ditto. You said it perfectly. Okay, so we're going to do something kind of fun. Oh, yeah, please.
Oh,
no, go ahead.
I'll just add really
No,
quickly onto that. I actually will go back further, not in a project, but I almost didn't finish school. I was in college, and college can be very hard, especially, you know, difficult. My second grade teacher always said, rocks and stones are hard, challenges are difficult. You can work through challenges. So it was very challenging when I was in school, and I took a semester off, and, you know, as someone, when I was in elementary through high school, I was a straight A student, and so I was always like, you know, go, 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 and for me, that was really hard to say, I need to take some time, you know, my mental health, like, it's very important to be healthy when you're trying to learn things, and so I did, but that network, again, that support, and my parents were supportive of taking time off and kind of regrouping, and then, but the important thing is, again, don't give up. So even if you have to stop, you know, my gym trainer says this a lot, even if you have to stop, just jump right back in when you can, you know, and if you keep pushing, you'll eventually get there.
Wonderful advice. Okay, so we're going to do a lightning round. Anybody know what a lightning round is? Where we ask really fast questions. We're going to ask each of you a question. You're going to tell us the first thing that pops into your mind, okay? Each panelist is going to get 2 questions, so we'll move the mic along. So we'll start with Amanda, okay? Would you rather fly a plane or steer a submarine?
Steer a submarine.
All right. Next question is going to be for Marquisa. Would you rather live in Antarctica or the Amazon?
The Amazon.
All right. How about Sandrine? Next question. Would you rather know the future or know all of the history off the top of your head?
The future.
Okay. Jennifer, a question for you. Name 2 things on your bucket list unrelated to your career.
Oh, wow. Seeing the Grand Canyon and going to Vegas.
There you go. You could do both of those on the same trip. Next question is for Rachel. Do you think Jurassic Park could really happen?
No.
Then if it did, you could build it.
Definitely.
There you go. Okay, next question is for Shelle. You're going to like this one. Okay. Who would play you in a movie?
How about Gabrielle Union?
I'll take that.
Yes.
Gabrielle, you.
Okay, next question for Leanne. What's the best invention of all time?
It's going to sound weird, but indoor toilets.
Oh, agree. Okay. Oh, a round of applause for that one. Amanda, back to you. Okay. Oh yeah, that's okay. Here we go. If you could have any job in the world, what would it be and why?
NASA engineer, because I want to end up in space.
Very cool. Okay. How about Marquisa? What was your least favorite subject in school and why?
Probably science. I just didn't have an interest in it, oddly enough.
Who would have thought, right? Okay, Rachel, next question. Would you rather be able to control the weather or breathe underwater?
Control the weather.
Oh, yeah.
I'd
right?
make it warm.
Okay, question for Sandrine. Would you ever travel to space if given the chance?
Absolutely.
You can join, yeah, she can join you on your NASA trip. Okay, Jennifer, what is your favorite element on the periodic table?
Right now it's cadmium.
Okay. And Shelle, would you rather swim with hungry sharks or speak in front of a crowd?
I would speak in front of a crowd.
100%. All right, and this last question is for Leanne, and it's a throwback, actually, I didn't realize, but to my first job. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
My favorite ice cream is actually, well, anything from Jenny's, and but there's one that is cookies and cream and cookie dough, both of them, and like extra big chunks.
Yeah, whoever was the chemist that came up with that, that's a good mix right there. All right, wonderful. Thank you, ladies, so much. There were, I think, a few more questions that we didn't get to. If we have a few more quick minutes, we can make sure we can get one or two in. Did anybody have a question? I know right here in the front and then up at the top. Let's do those two. Maybe these lightning questions gave you some ideas that you didn't think about before.
Hi, my name is Kamora, and I am 15 in the 9th grade, and my question is, what are some tips that you would give to someone who wants to be a part of your career?
Any tips for someone who might want to be in your career? Maybe the first step, what do you say for someone who might want to try what you're doing?
Well, find someone in the career that you're interested in and ask a lot of questions. And then there are opportunities like maybe summer camps or events like today where you can maybe get the opportunity to experience a little bit of whatever that career might be. But a lot of us here, it sounds like, have been interested in one thing, have asked questions or experienced them in some way, and have decided, well, maybe actually I want to do something a little different. For me, I started in architecture, and I decided, you know, I'm not super interested in the details. I want to look at the bigger picture. And so I transitioned to planning. So it's really just about getting out there, asking questions, gaining experience, and really trusting yourself to move forward in really whatever interests you most. So if you have those opportunities, take them.
And that's very well said. I wanted to say also, I think before thinking about a career, you may want to know, why are you here on earth? What is your purpose? What are you trying to live when you die? What do you want people to remember you for? Once you know your purpose or you have an idea, you know, like I want to make the life of penguins better, for instance. You know, once you have an idea, then, so you have an idea of your dream, then you prepare for it. And by preparation, it may be hard. It's not like you have to love all the classes you have to take. It doesn't work like that. That's not a movie. Real life, you will have to take classes you don't love, but you have to work so that you pass them. So you have to know that sometimes not everything's going to be easy. It will be hard sometimes, but you have to go through it. Make sense? So, and once you, when she explained so well, once you have an idea on what you want to do, ask people who are actually doing it. And it's okay to change your path. Okay?
Question up at the top.
My name is Emilia, and I'm 11. And do you go to public schools and meet kids?
Did you say, did you go to public schools? Is that what you said? Okay.
Yes, I went to Toledo Public Schools, and I actually graduated from Bowsher High School.
All right. Anyone else?
I also went to public schools, elementary through high school, all public school.
Yeah?
Yeah, same thing. I did both. I went to public school and to a private school.
Yes, I went to a public school, but in 6th grade, I decided to take the technology path. So that was a little different for me because I knew I wanted to be an engineer.
Very cool. Go ahead, yeah.
Mine was the same. I went to public school all the way through then went to college. College was private school, but everything else is public.
Yeah. Might as well ask you two, too, as well.
I went to the best high school in Toledo. No, I attended Toledo Public Schools and Maycomber Whitney Vocational Technical High School.
Okay.
I also went to public schools down in Columbus. I got to take some engineering classes while I was in high school, so that was a benefit. But yeah, still public.
All right. And we have, I think, one last question. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Molly. I'm 10 years old, and I'm in 4th grade. My question is, do you think that you would be as good as you are at your job if there were no challenges?
That's the easy answer for me, and the answer is no. Challenges build you. Challenges make you stronger. Without challenges, you will never have a taste of failure. And challenges, to me, actually make me work harder. I don't want an easy job. I like learning things new. So I love challenges. I love innovation. I think that's just part of engineering.
I would add that in design, you have to fail in order to progress and get to a better thing. And whether it's in any industry that you're in, I think that personally that's very true. And I think in at least for me in engineering, that's the same case. Is if we don't fail, we don't get to. At sometimes the machines have to fail for us to figure out how to improve them.
I'll add on to that challenges aren't bad. Challenges are not a bad thing. It's, you may not be happy, you may not, want to be staring at the same screen for 2 hours, but it's not a bad thing. It's an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to learn, and opportunities are definitely good things. So if you see it as something bad, then, it kind of changes your mindset. But if you see it as an opportunity to learn from it and grow from it, then bring them on. Bring them on. All the challenges.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much to all of our panelists for spending this time, sharing with us, answering these questions, all your expertise and your experience. Absolutely. We want to thank all the Girl Power sponsors for making this event possible, and including our presenting sponsor, which is Comfortline Fiber Frame. And most of all, thank you to all of you for coming this morning, having great questions, listening so attentively. It's really wonderful to see that. This is the first step for a lot of you, and being excited about STEM and all the possibilities that are out there for you. So if you are joining us for the keynote speeches, we'll see you back here in the KeyBank Discovery Theater at 1:30 this afternoon. But until then, take a little breather, stretch, grab some lunch, and enjoy all of the great Girl Power activity tables that are out throughout the Science Center. So thank you very much for coming to the panel today. Thank you, ladies, again. It was a pleasure to listen to you. We'll see you in a bit, guys.